Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by the House of Arras. Another surprise!
Out of the blue. You want that with fries? Out of the blue. Come with me across the sea. On a barbecue, we're gonna cook for you.
Nothing but blue skies!
Out of the blue. You want some chili with those fries? Out of the blue.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blue. I'm with my mate Mickey in discovering Tasmania. It's wet and it's cold, but we've got lots to do, haven't we, Mickey?
We haven't. It's so nice that you're opening the program because you haven't done that for a long while.
Well, I'm trying to be articulate and intelligent.
It's not working.
And
but
stop
look,
punching me, will you?
will we see any fish? Yeah, we're going to catch any fish or what?
Mickey, I'll guarantee you we're going to see not one, but at least two. A big family of them.
Oh, beautiful. Don't go away. Settle back and enjoy our program. We've come to Tasmania, that gem of an island to the south of mainland Australia. We're based at Launceston, the state's second city, and we start our journey just south at Cressy. And though we're here in winter, it's a great place to explore.
Tasmania is famous for its rivers and waterways, and they're well stocked with trout. And knowing our luck, I need to get some insurance to catch a fish or two. And I know just a place where there's one or two rainbow trout. So come with me and let's go hunting and gathering. I told you I could find some rainbow trout. Well, here's a whole tank full of them. I'm at the Poached hatchery and Sean, the hatchery manager, is showing me around.
This is where our whole process starts off, from egg right through to the transfer to sea. So we'll start them off, have our broodstock sitting on the site here, ready to go, and we'll strip that out about the second, third week of May for our Atlantic salmon, and another week or so later for our ocean trout.
Eggs from these rainbow trout broodstocks are maintained in a recirculation hatchery, where hatching times can be predicted and temperatures maintained ensure high survival rates. Eggs are incubated for 4 weeks before these eyed eggs are moved to hatching trays. Laboratory staff keep a close eye on each stage of the operation. Would you believe that this tank contains 300,000 baby salmon? After about a year, the young salmon and the trout will be transferred to ocean cages in Macquarie Harbour and the Tamar River to grow out. I can't wait that long, but I know where there's a tuna shop in Launceston. At the hatchery, we saw the baby salmon. This is a year later, this is a teenager, about 1.5 kilos, but I'm after the premium Poached salmon. And here you are. This is a 4 to 5 kilo fish. It's a premium fillet, and this is what I need for the recipe. Terry, can I please have this all wrapped up, ready to go?
I certainly can.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
After the break, the Atlantic salmon goes into the pot with a splash of sparkling wine.
Visiting Tasmania in winter has its own charms. I've been pointing out to the crew the tracery of these tree branches, silhouetted against the sky, just absolutely beautiful. Then there are the grapevines. They have their own beauty in the green of winter. This vineyard is the source of grapes for some very nice award-winning wines from the House of Arras.
Well, the best sparkling wines around the world are grown in vineyards from very cold climates. So Tasmania really offers, a great, pristine, cold, maritime climate.
And a particular variety of grape?
Yeah, there's 3 of the classic varieties in premium sparkling wine. That's Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and to a lesser degree, Pinot Meunier. And we grow all 3 of them on this site.
This particular vineyard here, how old would that be?
I was first planted in the early 80s and had a big range of plantings in the early 90s, I guess, when people started to realise how good grapes from this site were.
So where do you fit in, at, say, leading up to harvest time? What do you, as chief winemaker, what do you look for?
We're looking for the fruit to be at its optimum ripeness for the style that we want to make when we pick it. So we're looking at the sugar levels, the acid levels, and we taste for the flavour. And we're trying to get a balance of those three.
So who's got the harder job in winemaking, the sparkling winemaker like yourself, or the sort of the gutsy Shiraz red?
I'm not brave enough to make big reds like that, so I think they're just very different styles. And as a winemaker, it's good to specialise, like to focus in on one style.
Ed's very humble about his role, but believe me, he's recognised as one of the very best sparkling winemakers in this country. House of Arras wines share a beautiful cellar door at the Bay of Fires Winery at Pipers River. You can sample and purchase wines here. After the cool of the day in the vineyard, we were able to enjoy Ed's hospitality with some of the delicious food served at the cellar door.
I reckon that some of Ed's sparkling wine will go well with my ocean trout dish, so we'll get him to try it later in the show.
Michael, we're here at the House of Arras. I'm pretty excited. We've got some sparkling wine over there,
And we get
which
to,
are famous
we get
for.
to try
of
the
course.
sparkling wine,
Shall-
don't we?
shall I open it up?
I think you should.
I've always wanted to do this.
Yes, did you? We have takeoff. Hey, well done.
Interesting. Well, when we came here, we needed to know House of Arras. Well,
Yep.
It's a town in France, little town, famous for tapestry. And because all the wines that go into making that come from a tapestry of areas around where we are. And I think it's a wonderful name.
It is, Mickey.
Right.
Now I'm going to. This piece of salmon's got the skin on, so I'm going to take the skin off. Very sharp knife.
See, I love this. This is a master craftsman at work.
I've got to get recovery, otherwise I might get sacked. So there we are. See, there's very little apart from that little tag. There we are. See. Now, Mickey, could you just for me, please, slice up those spring onions?
I have to do something, do I? No.
Well, just not much.
You just want little slices like that, don't
Yeah, that's all right. And I want to put some of the. Now, those kaffir limes. Can you?
Well, you know, now I'm not sure what altitude we are here, but kaffir lime you normally associate with tropical, you know, all that crashing waves and palm trees. Here, we're on top of a hill, and it is seriously very cold, 6 degrees. And obviously during the summer, it's facing north, and it's just getting enough, this tree, little tree in a pot, just getting enough more warmth to produce these wonderful kaffir lime fruit, and they are stunning. Now look at that.
Look at what? How's that?
Okay.
And look at this. That's all we. I don't want to add salt because there's all that lovely body of that sparkling wine. So we'll be back very soon because we need it to poach it. We don't want to overcook it. Leave it a little bit raw in the middle. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bottoms up.
Yeah, bottoms up.
Mickey is poaching in this Arras sparkling wine. I'm going to turn it over to cook the other side as well.
Now, Garçon, how long would you cook it for?
About 6 to 8 minutes. And it's very important, don't overcook it. And have a look here.
Oh, I see what
See,
you mean, yes.
slightly raw in the
Yes,
middle.
yes, I see
Because if
what
you
you mean.
overcook it, it's not good. You'll lose that lovely oil in it.
Well, there you are. Michael's Atlantic salmon, poached in House of Arras, sparkling wine with lime, spring onion and fennel. Tasmania is famous for its apples, so Michael sent me off to get some for his next recipe. He must have forgotten that it's winter time. There's no leaves on the trees and there's no apples on the apple trees. But I reckon I know where I can get one, and that's in the packing shed, so fingers crossed. This is Miller's Orchard at Hillwood in the Tamar Valley. It's a 4th generation business that started in 1945. The business grows export quality apples, pears and cherries and supplies many of the local stores, greengrocers and supermarkets, as well as being a major exporter to many different countries. And don't those apples look terrific? Now, of course, with all those beautiful apples being graded for export, there are a few that slip through the system and are sold as second grade, but nothing wrong with them. Pears and a whole range of apples here. Lovely pack and pears, great for the cheese board. And here's an Australian apple, 1868. That was, well, I suppose bred by Maria and Granny Smith herself, the very own Granny Smith. A little bit too tart, I think, for Michael's Atlantic salmon. I'm going to settle for the pink ladies. And I reckon they are second grade. To me, they're just sensational. So I'll get a few of those, perhaps a couple of smaller ones as well to go with that. So there you are. But well worth a little visit to not only save a bit of money, but have a great selection of farm or orchard picked fresh apples. Now, Michael, tell me about this beautiful fish.
Well, it starts its life as a rainbow trout, and about 150, 200 grams, if not a little bit more, they put them into sea cages in Macquarie Harbour.
Is that after smoltification?
What does it mean?
It's the window that that little fish goes from freshwater to being able to accept salt water.
Absolutely.
And there's only a little tiny window, and if they don't smoltificate then, it takes a year to go around and back again.
It's very important. You must smolticate
And it's
very
the name
quickly.
of the game.
It's the name of the game. Now, Mickey, I've scummed this fish.
Yes.
I'm going to cut it into fours.
Yes.
Right, one. And that's where we're going to add the prosciutto. And we're going to have a point of difference. We're going to add apple. Okay.
There, look.
Thank you.
Couple of bits.
Yes, thank you. Apple.
Just like that.
Yeah, remember how once we did it, we used shark fillet and we did it with sage?
I remember that.
we
Hey,
are.
that was beautiful.
Oh, sizzle. We need
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. An entree is about 120 to 160 grams. A main course is about 180 to 220 grams.
All right.
Now, you asked me before, in a non-stick pan with butter and oil, the prosciutto wrap, 30 seconds either side when your butter foams, in a preheated oven on baking paper or a non-stick tray, 5 minutes, leave it raw in the middle, and in winter you serve it with a garlic mash, or what we call scudaya in Greek, or Asian stir-fried vegetables, and in summer, or asparagus.
And you could
with
sit
a
down
dill
and have it with a bottle of smoltification. It'd be amazing.
I reckon about another minute, Mickey. We've got a done deal.
There you are, ocean trout wrapped in prosciutto and grilled on the barbie. Ed, a little pepper with your...
Yes, please.
Okay, and I note that you've already chosen a beautiful wine. Tell us about that.
Well, this wine is Arras Grand Vintage. It's a blend of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir from Tasmania. Chose this one because it's got the brightness and freshness of the Chardonnay, which almost has a bit of a seaside sort of character itself. And then we have the Pinot Noir, which gives it some middle palate and back palate, which should go very well with this dish.
Yes, I must admit that I've never had a sparkling wine with a meal. I mean, normally perhaps aperitif or something like that before you eat. But do you do it often?
I do think it's great. I mean, sparkling wine has a great natural acid backbone to it. It's very cleansing, very bright.
Oh, I can smell it. That's
and
amazing.
These aged styles have a lot of yeast and a lot of character, which can marry well to a lot of other flavours.
So it'd be the perfect wine to have with this Atlantic salmon wrapped in beautiful prosciutto and some Tasmanian apple as well.
Sounds an excellent
So
mix.
should we try it out?
Yes.
Cooked with loving hands. My fellow co-star cooked this. Let's have a look. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Well,
That is excellent.
here's to a beautiful meal. Ed,
Yes, thank you.
thank you very much for choosing this beautiful sparkling wine for our lunch. I can't believe it. It's a first.
After the break, Michael's going to show us what's inside of these barrels. Very interesting.
We've driven south to Hobart to visit the Lark Distillery to learn about how whisky is made. I'm here at the Lark Distillery in Tasmania, and with me a single malt whisky, and it looks absolutely superb, the presentation. But you know, really it starts here with this barley. It goes through a smoking process, and then magically it's turned into that beautiful liquid that we know as whisky. The whisky story starts with this lovely rich peat, sourced from the hills of Tasmania. The burning peat dries the barley and infuses it with its characteristic flavour. There you can see the grains of malted barley. This process stops the germination of the grains. Now Chris, from the barley I was handling outside, it's in here, in this huge container. What's going on and what process is this going through?
Yeah, so we take our beautiful Tassie barley, we've smoked it now and it's come into here. We've stirred it with our mash paddle just here, and we've got this lovely porridge here. What we need to do is we need to extract the sugars in the barley so they dissolve in the water. We'll run it off with a pump and we'll separate them out for some fermentation.
Beautiful. So the fluid or the liquid goes where?
So the liquid follows through here.
Yep.
And we're going to come down here into one of our fermentation vessels. After about a week, we end up with this beautiful unhopped beer. This unhopped beer is going to be about 8% alcohol. So we're going to go through a bit of distillation from here. So in a still, we're going to take from 8% alcohol up to 28% alcohol, and over to this still.
This little baby one.
This little baby one is where the magic happens.
This is right.
And we're going to take it from 28% up to 72%. If we actually have a look in here, it's operating at the moment. You can see that we have beautiful spirit running out. It's all clear. So this is going to be at about 72% alcohol.
You see it running out.
Just running out.
Yeah.
And all the colour comes from the barrel. Exactly.
So that's another magic chamber, isn't it? Magical chamber.
It is the great unknown, the great magic of whiskey is that you can put the same spirit into two different barrels. Those barrels can come from the same place and they'll come out completely different.
That spirit, or heart, is then put into oak barrels to mature. Usually barrels that have previously been used for port or sherry. During maturation, the flavours of the spirit combine with the natural compounds in the wooden cask. And then this gives the whisky its own characteristic flavour and aroma. Now we're almost at the end of the whisky's journey, but Chris, tell me about this area here.
Well, this is our bond store and this is where we age our whisky. And this particular one has been in the barrel around 8 years plus.
So what has it drawn from that barrel?
Well, 70% roughly of the taste and flavour of a whisky comes from the barrel. So the barrel and the wood is a vital part of it. And this one is an American bourbon that's been in this barrel. So it's a lighter coloured whisky than perhaps one out of a sherry or a port barrel.
Well, look, I can see a little implement sticking in there. I was getting pretty excited about this. Oh, you're right with the colour.
Yes.
Look at that.
A little on the lighter side.
How often you get here and just have a little sample?
Not often enough, Michael.
And also, Chris, I must ask, where do we rate with Australian whiskies? Are we giving the others a nudge or what?
Well, I think that we are the impetulant colonials that are coming up in the whisky world, and we're making a pretty good drop.
Fantastic. Cheers. And
Cheers.
Thank you very much for telling us a beautiful story. That's our program for today. Thanks for joining us. Look, join us on Facebook. We love sending out those wonderful photos, or even on the internet at outofthebluetv.com.au. See you next time. Chris, this is beautiful.
Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by the House of Arras.